Well, it was almost 7 years ago when we last saw a solar eclipse. So as that day is approaching, we all want to catch a glimpse, but we want to make sure we're doing it safely. That's why we're here at LOI Care with the experts who are going to give us everything we need to know. Well, we've made it inside LOI Care, and we're sitting here with Dr. Matt Johnson, who's going to give us all the information that we need to know about protecting our vision for this eclipse. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well because you're going to give us so much information that we really need to know today. But first, how excited are you for the eclipse?
I can't tell you how excited I am. I mean, I wish I could actually, I'm going to be seeing patients, so I'm not going to enjoy it as much. But that'll keep my eyes safer, so it's fine.
Can I say, I think both of us, we are both working on this day. I can't tell you how many people I know are taking off. But that's all right.
Yes.
That's all right, because you're still going to give us some of those need-to-know guidelines.
Absolutely.
And one of those is that actually looking at the eclipse can damage our vision. But can you explain that for us a little more?
Normally, the sun is extremely bright, and so we have to look away. But when an eclipse is happening, the moon is covering it, and we can look at it. And that's the worst thing we could possibly do.
Really?
So what happens is, naturally our eyes close. That protects our eyes. We look away. But when the moon is covering it, all of a sudden, the light rays, the intensity is still there, the brightness is not. So the cornea and the lens within the eye actually act as a giant magnifier. And I don't know if whenever you were a kid and you take a magnifier out and burn some leaves or something like that outdoors, well, that's actually happening 10 times that amount to the back of our eyes. So you're literally burning the macula, which is where all our fine detailed vision comes from, and that's called solar retinopathy. So it's so important to actually use proper eye protection during an eclipse.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so when that happens, let's say we weren't to use that proper eye protection, what happens to our eye in the long run?
So the long run, number one, it's instantaneous. You are literally burning your photoreceptors out of your eye. So therefore, that part of it is gone. The retina is brain tissue. Once it's gone, it doesn't come back. So all of a sudden, you've got a blind spot. And I have seen from past eclipses, people will explain their blind spot, and it's literally the moon over the sun with just like a diamond-shaped blind spot.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm happy that you're telling us and you're giving us all this preventative information now. Now, you mentioned using protective eyewear. Can you describe what kind of eyewear?
You want to make sure it's actually solar filters.
Okay.
They are going to be about 100 times darker than natural sunglasses. Actual sunglasses, even though they have UVA, UVB, those are definitely not strong enough. You will still cause solar retinopathy with those. So you want to make sure, and there's so many fraudulent websites selling fake glasses out there. So you want to make sure they're ISO certified, because that is going to be dark enough to actually safely view it.
That UVA and UVB at the store that we normally would get is not protective enough.
Correct.
And the correct kind is, repeat that again?
ISO solar certified eclipse glasses.
Perfect. Thank you so much for stating that.
No, absolutely.
Now, I also want to ask, because someone like myself, I wear contacts and I wear glasses on a day-to-day, every day.
For sure.
I either have to have one in my eye at all times.
Yeah.
But everyone's eye history is a little bit different. Perhaps some people have blindness in their family or they have glaucoma. Is there extra precautions that they need to take if they want to view the eclipse?
One of the things, if you want to really take safety precautions, you can take a hole punch in a piece of paper, like an index card.
Right.
And actually look the opposite way of the sun, but hold that so that is actually seeing it. You can watch the progression that way. That is the safest way to actually watch it, because you're not even putting your eyes at risk. So that's the other thing. Now, I want to add one other thing on it, because I know people are going to want to capture it with our cell phones and everything. Don't do that, because you will actually damage the lens to your camera or anything. So you want to make sure you've got an actual solar filter on your actual camera itself, because that can actually burn the lens from not taking proper care of that as well.
Dr. Johnson, I did not know when I came here I was going to get all these different tips from you, not just protecting our eye, but protecting our phone, and knowing that, hey, there are some fraudulent places that are selling these sunglasses that we shouldn't be using. So we've only scratched the surface with the amount of information of things that we need to know to view this eclipse. But if we want to get more insight from you or from any of the doctors here at LOI Care, how can we do that?
You can go on our website. You can request an appointment at loi.com. We have our social media with LOI Care, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, all of them are out there.
Okay, well, thank you so much for just breaking down the eclipse for us. And I think with that being said, I think now we're ready for it.
Yeah, let's bring on the eclipse.